Good morning. Happy gloomy Monday in Cleveland. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I know the sun was peeking through the clouds there for a little while. That was pretty nice to see. I'm going to give folks a couple of minutes to join us. We're trying a brand new platform, and I'm so excited. So it's going to look a little bit different. Good morning, Errol. Anthony, it's good to chat with you this morning. All right, Nathan and Leo. Good morning, Nathan and Leo. We're trying something new, so you're going to notice that our screens look a little bit different. I'm really excited to bring you some new up. Good morning, Victoria Martin. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm really excited about today's challenge too. You see, one of my colleagues sent me a message and she was like, hey, would you be able to do Monday's challenge? And as you'll see on the bottom of the screen, it's an engineering design challenge. One of my all-time favorite things, because if I had to pick my own super science power, it would probably be making and creating things. I love to make and create things. So she had this idea to do a multi-day challenge, and it is going to be, I'm not going to give it away just yet, but we're going to do a challenge for multiple days, and I get to kick it off. And so when she told me what we were doing, hello, Cameron. When she told me what we were doing, I was like, oh yeah, I'm all about that. But then I realized I didn't have the tools that we needed. So are you ready for what the challenge is going to be? Ready for this? We're going to be engineers, and we're going to make Rube Goldberg machines, specifically a marble run. So I've moved around a little bit so that you can see I'm in a different room where I was the last time, because I needed to take up much more space. And so I was so excited to do this marble one, and I realized I don't have any marbles at home, but I do have cats, and with cats, cat toys. So I decided to make a cat toy run. Yeah, that works, right? Okay, you ready, Anthony? I know you're excited. So here's what you're going to need. This is multiple days, so lots of our other Science Center friends are going to come at you with some of the physics and science behind these. So don't worry if you don't get it finished today. The Science Viking and Andy with his bow tie, I think they're going to come back this week, and they're going to bring you more challenges to add to your run. So what is a Rube Goldberg? That's the question. So Rube Goldberg, over 100 years ago, came up with this really cool way of making very simple tasks extra complicated. Brilliant, right? So I have an extra simple task, and that is to get one of these cat toys into the cat toy container. I could just drop it in, right? But why be so simple? So we're going to learn some of the science behind marble runs and some Rube Goldbergs. So here's what you're going to do. Lots of different materials can work for this. You can use cardboard, you can use paper, you can use cardstock or construction paper or index cards. And it's all about balancing the forces that are acting upon an object. So if I wanted to take this toy and let it go, it's going to fall. Why did it fall down? Any ideas? There's a force acting on it, right? In fact, there's a very powerful force acting on everybody and everything that's close to Earth, and that's called gravity. And so you want to make sure that gravity is going to be acting on your marble, or maybe you don't have marbles, you try a cat toy or a Hot Wheels car. Anything that rolls will work for this. Or maybe you have your own idea. So we're going to give you information on the end at how you can share that information with us. So here's what I learned in prototyping. I learned that there are different forces acting upon those things. But the way that I got to it is by something called an engineering design process. So let me show you a little bit more information about the engineering design process. So we notice that when we have a particular idea for something. We have a goal. Our goal here is to create a marble run. So that's in the center. And on that marble run, we're going to notice that there's a circle around it. You've got imagine, and I have an idea. I imagine that I'm going to make a marble run or a cat toy run that takes up the whole wall of my living room. So I can do one of two things. I can either jump down to the bottom, just start building it, or I can make a plan for it. I can sketch that out and I can draw it and measure angles and measure length and distance and figure out how that's going to work. Then the fun begins. I start to build it. The most important things is that you have to go through and you have to improve upon what you've done. And I did a lot of improvement. And I started off with a scale model to figure out how angle and materials are going to work on the different materials. So that's the engineering design process. And engineers use that design process all the time when they're trying to solve problems. And that's what we're doing today. So what I want to do is I wanted to figure out exactly how I can create a marble run. And there's lots of different ways that you can do it. So here's my scale model. I know, very sophisticated and fancy. What I learned though, my cat toy, it doesn't fit through most of my objects. So I had to come up with a new marble, and inside those toys is another little marble. So this is a model, a scale model of a much bigger marble run that you're going to see in a minute. But you'll notice we have tubes and we have tunnels and we have towers. And one of the things that I figured out is as the marble starts to go down the ramps, it gains speed. And the angle with which I place the next obstacle is going to determine how much speed it gets. So if I wanted to catch the marble here, I can either go in a really, really steep speed, in which case I need to move the opening closer to my target, which is this toilet paper tube, or I can make it a little bit of a narrower angle, in which case I have to move it a little bit further back. And I figured that out through the engineering design process. I built it, and I tested it, and I went back and I built it again. And I've got a super awesome idea for my next one. I'm going to try to build a ramp because you can have all kinds of different objects inside your marble run. So that's my model, and I thought that I would show you the one that I built, and look, it's on the wall behind me. So here's the objective. Let's see if you guys can see all of this. The cat toy is going to start way up there at the top. It's going to come down, bounce off this one, roll all the way down, gain lots of momentum as it comes across, and then it's going to land on these two bottles and into my cat toy. You ready to test it? Okay, let me pick the perfect cat toys. And don't worry, while I was experimenting a whole lot, and you might think that it was really cruel for me to take all my cat toys, I learned something even cooler. My cats love cardboard more than cat toys. Okay, here we go. All right, ready? So close. Here's the thing. We talked about gravity. Gravity is acting upon all those things, and it's getting us moving. It creates that motion because if we want something to go in motion, we need to apply a force. But there's another force that's acting upon objects that slow that object down. I missed the bucket because it was going too fast. It had too much momentum. So what I need to do is I need to slow it down. What are your ideas? How can I slow it down? Well, I could re-engineer this thing and make the angle a little bit less steep, or I can add a force that's going to slow it down called friction. Have you guys heard of friction before? Friction is an opposing force. So imagine for a minute you're running outside on the grass. And then all of a sudden you find an ice skating rink. What happens when you run on ice? You slip and slide all over the place, right? More so than on grass. And the reason is because of friction. So I can slow down my marble by adding a different surface. So I'm going to add a towel because that towel is going to slow down that momentum. And we're going to see if I can land into my cat toy bucket. This is where it gets fun. It got stuck on the tag. Gravity. Maybe we need a little bit more momentum. Well, I guess we have to keep trying. Okay, so that's your challenge for this week. For the rest of this week, we're going to bring you different challenges and science behind marble runs and Rube Goldbergs. I will never give up, Anthony. I know, right? So the thing with it is that it's really inconsistent. And I did this a lot. My cats definitely had a good time with this. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work. And that's okay because we get to do a lot of different things in order to improve upon our designs. So here's your challenge. Your challenge is to make a marble run or a Rube Goldberg of your choice, such as, what's a simple task that you can make much more complicated? Maybe turning off your alarm or feeding your cats or your dogs. So make a marble run or make another kind of an engineering design challenge like a Rube Goldberg and share what you've learned and your pictures and videos with us. Use that hashtag on the bottom, Stay Curious CLE. And remember, we want to see what you're doing. If you've not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe to this channel because we come live every day, Monday through Friday, with different challenges and demonstrations. And then we post a follow-up video in the afternoon. And a lot of times we give you a sneak peek into what you can see for the next day. We also have lots of videos on the weekends. And be sure to head over to our website, greatscience.com, for resources and links to more information and fun science that you can do at home. As always, practice safe science, wash your hands, and stay curious. Thank you so much. We'll see you this afternoon.